Welcome message. The old keeper of the scroll hall nearly spilled his tea when he heard those familiar footsteps returning through the mountain path. He hurried to dust off a forgotten record, laughing that some daoists vanish for ages, only to return exactly when the most exciting pages are being written. Come closer, for tonight's tale carries the scent of ancient secret, shattered destiny, and a battle that will shake the heavens. Introductory Narration. The ancient chronicles of the starry realms record the moment when Wang Lin turned the All-Seer's own scheme against him. After uncovering the truth behind the 99 awakenings and discovering the hidden original body of the Heavenly Dao, Wang Lin arrives with the half-defying compass as the final battle begins. Now, the fate of countless lives hangs between two beings who have both challenged the laws of heaven itself. The storm born from the ancient Dao bloodline finally scattered. Its violent pressure faded into the starry void, leaving only silence behind. Every surrounding rock had vanished beneath its power, every rock except the one beneath Wang Lin. Wang Lin slowly turned toward the east. From that distant direction, he sensed the All-Seer's aura once more. At the same moment, a translucent figure overlapped with his body, then gradually separated until his original body stepped fully into the stars. The instant the original body emerged, Wang Lin's avatar reached into the void. The ghostly sail appeared above his palm and expanded with a thunderous surge, spreading an enormous illusion across the surrounding space and sealing the entire area from outside perception. Within that shifting illusion, Wang Lin faced his avatar. A cold gleam passed through his eyes, sharp enough to cut through every hidden calculation.
The 3-life spell is certainly not something that can be copied. If I destroy my avatar or die once through the 3-life spell, then every one of the All-Seer's plans will collapse. But the price would be too great, and the exchange would not be worthwhile. All-Seer, since you wish to play this game, I will play it with you. Let us see who becomes the true winner.
This was not hesitation born from fear. Wang Lin had already discovered a method capable of overturning the All-Seer's scheme, but he refused to sacrifice everything for a crude victory. Against an enemy who had planned across countless years, survival alone was not enough. He intended to win without surrendering the foundation of his cultivation. The avatar lifted one finger and pressed it toward the space between the original body's eyebrows. A howling sound swept across the star system, and a strange radiance appeared in the avatar's eyes. That fingertip did not merely touch flesh, it seemed to descend directly upon the original body's soul. The ghostly sail immediately began to churn. Its boundless illusion transformed into a gigantic cloud and contracted around Wang. Most of that cloud poured into the space between the original body's eyebrows, while the remainder separated and wrapped itself around the avatar. The avatar's face turned slightly pale. He withdrew his finger, turned toward the distant stars, and bowed with solemn respect.
Senior Blue Dream, Senior Qinglin, Senior Hongshang, my original body will remain here. I ask the 3 seniors to protect it.
Blue light flashed through the void. Dao Master Blue Dream stepped out first, followed silently by King Lin and Master Hongshan. The 3 powerful cultivators had been present from the beginning, watching every confrontation between Wang Lin and the All-Seer without interfering. Dao Master Blue Dream sat before Wang Lin's original body. His expression remained calm, but the certainty in his voice carried the weight of a supreme expert.
With me here, you may act without concern. If you find his original body, then no matter how powerful it may be, it will not escape.
Wang Lin nodded and clasped his hands toward the 3 seniors. Then he took one step into the eastern stars, following the direction from which the All-Seer's aura had emerged. The drop of water and the handful of soil appeared in his hand, and he carefully put away the 2 essences. His original body would search for the All-Seer's true body, while the avatar prepared another battlefield entirely. Wang Lin predicted that once the All-Seer became anxious, he would summon every avatar at once and attempt to seize Wang Lin before the search could succeed. That reaction was not something Wang Lin feared. It was precisely what he wanted. As he flew through the stars, Wang Lin formed a seal with his right hand and pressed it against his chest. At once, a profound transformation began within his soul. Long ago, Wang Lin's soul had become a soul devourer, a terrifying existence capable of devouring all things, even itself. Within the Avatar's soul rested all of Wang Lin's essences, and even his origin soul shared an inseparable connection with it. If that soul perished, everything contained within it would disappear. Yet essences were not ordinary treasures that could simply be stolen forever. They were born from comprehension. Wang Lin's original body possessed all his memories, all his experiences, and the understanding from which those essences had emerged. Even if the gathered essences vanished, he could comprehend them again. This realization transformed a fatal weakness into bait. The seal disappeared into his chest. Wang Lin abandoned every trace of hesitation and fused his consciousness completely with the increasingly powerful soul of the All-Seer's avatar. Wrapped in that foreign aura, he continued flying eastward. In the eastern region of the summoned river, amid an endless sea of stars, the All-Seer appeared. His strange smile was gone. The calm mask he had worn for so long had cracked, and his expression had become as dark and heavy as deep water. He stared into the distance with cold eyes. Wang Lin wished to kill his original body, but first he would have to find it. Even the All-Seer himself had forgotten where that original body rested. Logically, Wang Lin should have had no path to it. Yet doubt had already entered the All-Seer's heart. Wang Lin had risen from an insignificant cultivator to his current height, surviving danger after danger through extraordinary methods and ruthless calculation. The All-Seer could not convince himself that Wang Lin's earlier declaration had been an empty bluff. He decided that the game had continued long enough. Even if his plan contained flaws, he would complete it immediately. Once everything was finished, he would enter slumber and await his 99th awakening. Wang Lin's cultivation was already high enough to let that slumber finish in an instant and bring the All-Seer to the awakening he desired. The All-Seer believed he was accelerating his victory, but Wang Lin had already seized control of the rhythm. By threatening the one secret the All-Seer could not afford to expose, Wang Lin forced this ancient schemer to abandon patience. In a battle between minds, the first person compelled to act often reveals the first true weakness. The All-Seer raised both hands and closed his eyes. The instant his eyelids fell, hundreds of All-Seers appeared throughout the summoned river. Every one of them turned in the same direction, toward the rapidly moving Wang. At that same moment, ripples spread across the brilliant void, and more All-Seers stepped from the distorted stars. They too looked toward the summoned river. Then the same phenomenon erupted across all heaven and the cloud sea. Across all 4 great star systems, the number of manifested avatars reached 3,000. These were the All-Seer's 3,000 avatars, the countless bodies he had obtained through relentless devouring during his 98 awakening. The moment all 3,000 appeared, Wang Lin abruptly stopped. Brilliant light burst from his eyes.
He fell into the trap.
The All-Seer avatar soul within Wang Lin seemed to boil awake. It spread slowly through every part of his body, while calling out to the other 3,000 fragments. For that brief instant, Wang Lin's existence became nearly indistinguishable from one of the All-Seer's true avatars. Within his mind, Wang Lin sensed every avatar with perfect clarity. Their location, their auras, and the invisible connection binding them together were all exposed before him. Every one of those souls belonged to the All-Seer. Wang Lin had never possessed confidence in finding the original body. His earlier words had been a calculated provocation, each sentence hiding a blade. He knew the All-Seer feared uncertainty, so he made that fear grow until the All-Seer changed his plan and summoned every avatar to seize Wang Lin as quickly as possible. But by summoning the 3,000 avatars, the All-Seer had revealed the very clues Wang Lin lacked. Their shared auras could now become guides, allowing Wang Lin to trace the connection backward toward the source. Searching blindly for the original body had been like wandering through darkness without a road. Now, 3,000 paths had appeared at once, each leading away from an avatar and pointing toward the same hidden origin. The All-Seer had not merely stepped into Wang Lin's trap, he had constructed the road to his own greatest secret. At this moment, the balance between them shifted. The ancient monster still possessed overwhelming preparation, but Wang Lin now held the initiative. Wang Lin's eyes shone like two brilliant moons. A faint smile appeared on his face as his hands formed a seal, and one finger rose toward the space between his eyebrows.
With these 3,000 souls as guides, with the dream Dao as the path, and with the illusion of the ghostly sail, I shall dream of the 3,000 avatars, enter reincarnation, and search for the All-Seer's original body.
The instant his finger touched the space between his eyebrows, Wang Lin's original body deep within the summoned river and guarded by Dao Master Blue Dream, King Lin, and Master Hong Shan opened its eyes.
I know the path to his original body.
A strange light emerged from the original body's eyes and spread across him. His mind trembled. Borrowing the 3,000 souls as anchors, Wang Lin activated the Dream Dao and opened a path leading backward into the past. The ghostly sail supplied the illusion. The Dream Dao transformed that illusion into a traversable world, and the 3,000 connected souls became coordinate. Rather than searching physical space, Wang Lin immersed himself in the memories of the avatars, seeking the moments of their awakenings and tracing them toward the original body. This was his true retaliation against the All-Seer. Wang Lin's vision blurred. Time seemed to reverse as his consciousness followed the 3,000 souls into a vast dream illusion. At first, the world surrounding him was indistinct, but the haze soon withdrew, and the scene before him became clear. He saw a familiar star system, the summoned river. A meteor crossed the darkness, and within it sat the All-Seer. On the opposite side lay an unconscious old man. That man was Ling Tianhu. The All-Seer's face was twisted with pain. Traces of blood remained upon his hands. If Wang Lin's speculation was correct, it was Heavenly Dao blood that had been altered by the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor. The agony on the All-Seer's face intensified. After an unknown period, he released a violent roar and opened his eyes. Shadows flashed rapidly across his features, each shadow carrying the appearance of one of his avatars. His gaze fell upon Ling Tianhu. Without warning, the All-Seer opened his mouth. It expanded beyond all natural limits and swallowed Ling Tianhu whole. After devouring him, confusion filled the All-Seer's eyes. He slowly closed them, and the meteor continued drifting through the endless stars. Time flowed within the vision. Several hundred years passed like a silent river before the All-Seer finally opened his eyes again. Confusion still lingered within them.
I have awakened again. The power needed for the next slumber and awakening has already been prepared. He is Wang Lin.
Although the vision appeared to span centuries, only an instant had passed outside the dream. Wang Lin's mind surged with questions. The All-Seer had devoured Ling Tianhu, yet his first words were that he had awakened again. How many times had the All-Seer awakened, and what did each awakening truly require? The answer would determine whether Wang Lin was hunting a single hidden body or confronting an existence that had repeatedly replaced itself across the ages. The scene with Ling Tianhu was not merely a memory, it was the first visible crack in the All-Seer's deepest secret. The vision vanished immediately after the All-Seer's awakening. Darkness swept across Wang Lin's consciousness, but before he could withdraw from the dream, another image began to form. The reincarnation image shifted once more, and a vast cultivation planet emerged from the darkness. Wang Lin recognized it at a glance. It was planet Tianyun. Deep within the Tianyun sect, hidden behind layers of restrictions, the All-Seer sat cross-legged inside a secret chamber. Before him were 9 unconscious youth, arranged in silence like offerings awaiting an unknown fate. A strange light flickered through the All-Seer's eyes. He opened his mouth and drew in a single breath. In that instant, the 9 youths were swallowed whole, their bodies and auras disappearing into him without leaving the slightest trace. His body immediately trembled. Pain twisted his expression. and the clarity in his gaze faded. Slowly, he closed his eyes and sank into a profound slumber. Years flowed past like drifting dust. No one knew how much time had vanished before the All-Seer finally opened his eyes again. This time, his gaze was clear, calm, and terrifyingly awake.
This is my 97th awakening. The next candidate for my sleep and awakening is Ling Tianhao.
Wang Lin's expression remained calm, but a raging wave had already risen within his heart. He had never imagined that the All-Seer's repeated awakenings were achieved by devouring living cultivators. This was not ordinary possession, nor was it a simple cultivation technique. Each chosen victim appeared to serve as nourishment, a vessel whose life and cultivation allowed the All-Seer to pass through another cycle of sleep, reincarnation, and awakening.
He should be one of the 7-colored celestial sovereign's 3 souls or 7 fragments. Only that could explain why he continues to awaken again and again.
As Wang Lin stared at the All-Seer, the coldness in his gaze deepened. Yet the reincarnation images did not stop. They continued changing, revealing the All-Seer in different eras, different bodies, and different places. In one image, the All-Seer sat above an abandoned planet. After devouring another cultivator he had personally selected, he completed yet another awakening and prepared to leave. But as he flew through the starry sky, his body suddenly stopped. His gaze descended toward an earthy yellow cultivation planet, half abandoned and nearly exhausted of spiritual energy. It should have been beneath his notice. The All-Seer softly exclaimed. A faint smile gradually appeared on his face as his divine sense spread toward the desolate planet.
It is rare to encounter such profound comprehension on a half-abandoned planet. However, with your mere nascent soul cultivation, you should not be so greedy in pursuing soul formation comprehension. If you continue down this path, I fear that even after millions of years, you still will not discover the source. By then, your body will have completely decayed. Have you considered that?
As he spoke, the All-Seer raised his right hand and pressed it down toward the half-abandoned planet. His gesture appeared casual, yet it carried the authority of someone looking down upon an entire world.
This old man's name is All-Seer. Today I shall grant you a stroke of good fortune. If you can leave this abandoned planet and find me on planet Tianyun, I will accept you as a named disciple for 100 years.
The smile on the All-Seer's face grew wider. He waved his slate, turned away, and walked into the distance as though he had merely planted an insignificant seed.
That child is not bad. I can nurture him for a while and allow my avatar to devour him. However, his cultivation level is still too low, so it is difficult to say whether he will become useful. Still, I have a feeling that this child will become extraordinary.
The moment Wang Lin heard those words, his mind shook violently. He stared at the earthy yellow planet, and it felt as though thunder had exploded directly inside his consciousness. The aura rising from that planet was unmistakable. In one instant, Wang Lin understood everything. The so-called kindness shown to a nascent soul cultivator had never been kindness at all. It had been an investment, a calculated act meant to nurture a future victim, until that victim became worthy of being devoured. For Wang Lin, this revelation was more chilling than open hostility. The All-Seer had noticed him when he was weak, guided his path from the shadows, and perhaps regarded every struggle and breakthrough Wang Lin experienced as nothing more than the ripening of his own harvest. While Wang Lin's original body remained immersed in the All-Seer's reincarnation, a terrifying change unfolded in the outside world. Every All-Seer avatar raised its right hand and pointed toward the space between its eyebrows. The first All-Seer to appear in the eastern region of the summoned river revealed a strange light in his eye. He performed the same gesture, placing one finger against the center of his brow.
This old man will sleep for the final time and awaken for the final time. This time, I will complete the plan I began countless years ago.
He closed his eye. His finger slowly sank into his skull. At that instant, thunderous rumbles erupted throughout all 4 star systems. The bodies of the All-Seer avatars collapsed one after another, until all 3,000 had fallen apart. From each shattered body, a soul flew out. 3,000 souls crossed the starry heavens, all rushing toward Wang Lin's avatar with a single purpose.
Let us see whether you are faster or whether I am faster. When this old man began scheming against you, you were merely a nascent soul cultivator. Without this old man, your body would already have decayed. Everything you possess belongs to me.
The 3,000 souls surged forward. Their soul force overlapped and fused, creating a heaven-shattering roar that did not echo through the stars, but directly inside the mind of Wang Lin's avatar. The All-Seer had chosen the most dangerous possible moment to strike. Wang Lin's original body was trapped within the reincarnation memory, while his avatar faced the combined soul force of 3,000 incarnations. This was not merely an attack, it was an attempt to seize Wang Lin from both the past and the present at once. Yet as the 3,000 souls closed in, Wang Lin's original body continued witnessing more and more of the All-Seer's awakening. The being before him no longer consistently resembled the All-Seer. Sometimes it was a man, sometimes a woman, sometimes someone whose appearance had no connection to any previous incarnation. Had Wang Lin not firmly locked onto the same underlying, he would never have believed that these unrelated figures were all the same existence. In the ancient cultivation world, before the collapse of the 4 celestial realms, a middle-aged man dressed in blue floated above a planet. A gentle smile rested upon his face as he devoured an unconscious young man before him. That young man was not an enemy. He was the middle-aged man's only disciple.
This is my 34th awakening.
Elsewhere in that ancient era, among scattered fragments of the cultivation world, a charming woman floated through the void. She smiled as she devoured an unconscious man beside her. The man possessed a high cultivation level. Celestial energy filled his body, making it obvious that he came from one of the 4 celestial realms. Again and again, Wang Lin witnessed the same horrifying pattern. Sometimes the All-Seer devoured many people, sometimes only one, but every act of consumption led toward another awakening. Neither loyalty nor bloodline appeared to matter. Disciple, expert, celestial, and carefully cultivated candidates were all reduced to resources. To the All-Seer, relationships were disguises, and every bond could become part of a cultivation scheme spanning entire eras.
What exactly is the All-Seer? Why must he rely on devouring others to awaken? And what is it that he is awakening?
Outside the reincarnation illusion, within the summoned river, hundreds of All-Seer avatars had already reached Wang Lin. One after another, they entered his avatar's body. Wang Lin's avatar remained seated, his expression calm and unmoving. He showed no resistance, as though he did not care that the enemy's souls were invading him. The invading soul of the All-Seer grew stronger with each entry. Before long, its presence occupied almost all of Wang Lin's avatar. At the same time, the souls from the other 3 star systems arrived with astonishing speed. In the outside world, everything happened within moments. Yet to Wang Lin's original body, every instant seemed unbearably slow. Wang Lin's stillness was impossible to read. It could have been helplessness, but it could just as easily have been deliberate patience. Against an enemy who had prepared for countless years, revealing one's final defense too early could be more fatal than enduring the invasion itself. The reincarnation continued moving backward through time. Awakening after awakening vanished, until Wang Lin finally reached the All-Seer's 3rd awakening. This was no longer the ancient cultivation era. It was the immemorial age, a time so distant that the celestial realms had not yet come into existence. The star system of that age was filled with planets. Its inhabitants were cultivators rather than celestials, drawing upon the raw aura of heaven and earth. On one planet, an old man dressed in beast skin lay upon the ground. Wood had been piled around his corpse, and flames burned fiercely as his clan carried out his funeral rite. Hundreds of clan members, dressed in similar primitive clothing, knelt around the fire and chanted in low voices. The old man had already died. To them, the matter was beyond doubt. Then, without warning, the dead man opened his eyes. Confusion flickered briefly within his pupils, but it was soon replaced by cold indifference. Before the shocked eyes of the surrounding clan, he slowly sat upright amid the flames. A strange smile appeared on the old man's face. He opened his mouth and inhaled. The hundreds of kneeling clansmen were instantly devoured, along with the flames surrounding the corpse. Yet the horror did not end there. The entire planet began to tremble. Mountains shook, the earth collapsed, and an enormous mouth appeared over the world. In a manner beyond imagination, that mouth swallowed the entire planet.
This is my third awakening. I remember that during my second awakening, I devoured the seven-colored celestial sovereign's seventh fragment.
The old man stood within the sky of the illusion, licked his lip, and smiled, but the words he had spoken struck Wang Lin's heart like a heavenly tribulation.
He devoured the seven-colored celestial sovereign's seventh fragment. If he is not one of the three souls or seven fragments, then who is he? How could he devour one of the seven-colored celestial sovereign's soul fragments?
This single sentence shattered Wang Lin's previous theory. The All-Seer was not necessarily a fragment of the seven-colored celestial sovereign. He was something capable of hunting and consuming those fragments. That distinction transformed him from a remnant of an ancient expert into an existence of far more mysterious origin. After personally witnessing more than 90 reincarnations, Wang Lin also discovered another crucial pattern. The All-Seer's devouring power appeared to weaken with each successive awakening. During the third awakening, he had possessed enough power to devour an entire planet. Yet after more than 90 awakenings, he could only consume individual cultivators. Every awakening granted continuation, but it also seemed to carry a cost. His scale of consumption steadily declined, suggesting that reincarnation preserved his existence while eroding the terrifying power he had possessed at the beginning. That weakness may have been the reason he needed ever more elaborate schemes. Unable to overwhelm everything as he once had, he learned to cultivate victims, establish identity, create avatars, and manipulate fate itself. His loss of raw power had made him far more patient and perhaps far more dangerous. Wang Lin stared at the smiling old man, his pupils contracting sharply. Then the image shattered and reformed, carrying him even farther into the past. This time, he was witnessing the All-Seer's second awakening. A completely foreign star system appeared before Wang Lin. Countless cultivation planets floated throughout the void, yet there was no movement, no spiritual fluctuation, and not a single trace of life. It was a dead star system, or more precisely, the cave world in its earliest phase, before life had ever been born. Surrounded by that endless lifelessness, an unimaginable thought slowly formed within Wang Lin's mind. For the first time, he began to see the outline of the All-Seer's true identity. Before that thought could fully emerge, a weak soul aura approached from the distance. Wang Lin turned and saw a blurry illusion concealed within it. The aura contained the unmistakable power of one of the seven-colored celestial sovereign's soul fragments. The moment the soul fragment appeared, a gigantic rift tore open in the starry sky and swallowed it. After the soul was devoured, the rift slowly closed. In its place, a young man emerged. Ghostly light radiated from his body. Confusion initially filled his eyes, but the confusion soon vanished, replaced by chilling clarity.
The seven-colored celestial sovereign's seventh soul fragment, it was delicious. I helped him greatly, but now that he is dead, no one can control me. Unfortunately, his three souls are too powerful. After they were separated from my body, I would not dare to devour them. However, by borrowing the power of this soul fragment, I can allow myself to grow. Perhaps after many, many years, I can use this method to recreate the complete seven-colored celestial sovereign. At that time, I will become seven-colored. But most importantly, I must continue growing.
The young man's expression remained unchanged. He raised his right hand and physically moved the corners of his mouth, forcing his face into the shape of a smile. That unnatural gesture revealed something deeply unsettling. At this point in time, the being had not yet learned even the most basic expressions of a living person. The identity, emotion, and human mannerisms seen in later reincarnations were all disguises acquired afterward.
First, I must learn how to become a cultivator. I will ensure that no one, not even the seven-colored celestial sovereign's 3 souls and 7 fragments, can recognize what I truly am. I will regain control of reincarnation.
The All-Seer's countless identities were therefore not random reincarnations. They were stages of an ancient plan. Learn cultivation, imitate living beings, hide from the 7-colored celestial sovereign's remnant, recover lost strength, and ultimately seize control of reincarnation itself. Even more terrifying was his intention to recreate the complete 7-colored celestial sovereign. Whether he sought to become that existence, control it, or use it as nourishment, the result would overturn the balance of the entire cave world. Wang Lin stared at the young man. Shock surged through his mind, stronger than anything he had felt throughout the previous 90 reincarnations. At last, he knew what this being was.
Heavenly Dao.
Wang Lin's mind went utterly blank. The truth hidden within the All-Seer cycle of reincarnation was so impossible that even his hardened Dao heart trembled beneath its weight. The Heavenly Dao pursued by countless cultivators, the existence buried beneath innumerable secrets, was actually the All-Seer himself. Before him stood the smiling young man who had calmly reshaped his own face with one hand. Wang Lin stared, unable to suppress the violent waves surging through his heart. At that moment, he was no longer an ancient cultivator who had crossed countless calamities. He was a solitary boat caught in a raging sea, surrounded by tides powerful enough to overturn everything he believed. Under Wang Lin's unwavering gaze, the young man kept that faint, unfathomable smile. Then his figure drifted farther away, fading into the depths of the star system. The surrounding stars blurred. Space collapsed layer by layer, and the entire vision dissolved before Wang Lin's eyes. Yet even as the world vanished, the shock remained, rooted deeply within his mind. Far outside the reincarnation vision, within the summoned river, Wang Lin's avatar had already turned deathly pale. Veins rose across its face, vanished, and surfaced again, as though countless foreign wills were crawling beneath its skin. One after another, the souls of the All-Seer's innumerable avatars forced their way into Wang Lin's avatar. Each soul carried a fragment of the same ancient will, and every fusion pushed the avatar closer to complete possession.
How can you possibly compete with this old man? I can seize your body now. Has your original body found my original body yet?
The All-Seer's gloomy voice reverberated through the avatar's mind. More than 1,000 souls gathered from the summoned river and brilliant void had already merged into it, while the remaining souls from the cloud sea and all heaven were rapidly closing in. The All-Seer's strategy was terrifying because it did not depend on defeating Wang Lin in a single confrontation. He had divided himself across star systems, lives, and reincarnation. By gathering every fragment into one vessel, he intended to overwhelm Wang Lin through sheer accumulation of soul. The longer Wang Lin remained inside the vision, the closer his avatar came to becoming the All-Seer's new body. Then the vision of the All-Seer's second awakening collapsed completely, and another scene emerged from the darkness the moment of his first awakening. The star system turned indistinct, twisted, and disappeared. When the final trace of light faded, an enormous door rose before Wang Lin. The door was so vast that Wang Lin felt like an ant standing beneath an immeasurable mountain. Yet it was unlike the mysterious gate he had once seen within the heaven-defying bead. This door released no overwhelming majesty. Instead, it appeared inseparable from the world itself, as though heaven and earth had grown around it. Wang Lin could not see what existed beyond it. Then a thunderous impact erupted from the other side. The entire door trembled. A crack appeared across its surface. Sharp cracking sounds rolled through the void as the fracture spread farther and farther, threatening to divide the colossal gate in two. The impacts grew more violent. In only a few breaths, the door could endure no more. It split apart, breaking into several gigantic sections that were hurled in every direction by the unimaginable force beyond it. Even shattered, the door did not crumble into dust. Its fragments were simply too enormous. They tore across space with such speed that they vanished from sight almost instantly. One fragment was driven toward a distant region that would one day become the brilliant void. There, it broke apart again, ripping open space itself. Countless smaller pieces sank into the newborn spatial fissures. The fragments fused with the void, leaving the surrounding space unstable and forming a permanent spatial rift. For countless years, those pieces remained hidden there, untouched by the passage of time. Many ages later, a group of cultivators from the Four Divine sect arrived through an unknown method. They searched for a cultivation planet, concealed the instability in that region, and covered the spatial rift before connecting it to the planet. Eventually, those cultivators departed. As the years passed, the hidden spatial rift would occasionally reveal itself. Talented cultivators living on the planet discovered it and began borrowing its power. In time, that ancient wound in space became known as the foreign battleground. What later generations regarded as a mysterious battleground had not been created for them. It was merely the lingering consequence of an ancient collision far beyond their understanding. This revelation transformed a familiar location into evidence of a much greater history, showing how the struggles of supreme existences could shape the cultivation world for countless eras. At the exact moment the giant door shattered, Wang Lin saw a vast mass of fog burst through the ruins. Within that fog, the outline of a person flashed into view. Wang Lin could not see the figure's face, but its enraged roar shook the surrounding void.
Heavenly Dao. You actually obtained a Heavenly Dao. Damn it, this king does not approve.
The final words twisted into a furious hiss. A terrifying rumble exploded from within the fog, and the endless mist began to churn as though an invisible force were tearing it apart from the inside. The fog split into two clusters, one large, one small. The larger mass contained the mysterious figure, whose roars had already weakened. It was flung into an unknown region of the void and vanished. The smaller cluster flew in the opposite direction. As it crossed the darkness, the smaller cloud continuously contracted. Through the thinning fog, Wang Lin faintly saw that something lay at its center, a blurred, semicircular fragment. That fragment was the core of the entire cloud. The fog became smaller with every passing moment until not a trace remained. All of it condensed into the semicircular object, which continued flying through space before descending upon a lifeless cultivation planet. There were no living beings on that barren world. Only a low mountain stood beneath the empty sky. The fragment fell like a meteor. It smashed through the mountain, collapsed the surrounding stone, and plunged deep into the heart of the planet before finally coming to rest. Wang Lin witnessed every moment. His gaze followed the object into the depths of the planet, where ancient characters could still be seen engraved across its surface. It resembled half a compass. More precisely, it was one half of a particular compass whose true form remained incomplete. Time flowed onward. An unknown number of years passed, yet the planet remained barren and silent. Then strands of the fog that had once condensed into the compass began seeping out again. Those strands gathered above the half-compass, gradually forming a hazy human silhouette. The figure became clearer and clearer until it took the shape of a young man. His eyes were closed, and his body floated silently above the buried fragment. After a long time, His eyelids opened, revealing only confusion.
I gained a spirit. I remember being summoned by Master and devouring that celestial. The celestial destroyed himself to prevent me from devouring him. Then I was torn apart. Who am I?
The young man closed his eyes again, sinking into contemplation. A moment later, they snapped open, and an unnatural light flashed within them.
I am the Heavenly Dao. I should never have possessed a spirit. But when that celestial destroyed himself, I absorbed part of his divine sense. I gained intelligence from him.
The young man murmured as understanding settled over him. Watching this scene, Wang Lin finally connected many of the mysteries that had once appeared irreconcilable. He understood why Lion Daofei had become a madman. He also understood why the Lion Daofei he had witnessed inside the seven-colored Daoist's dream had been arrogant, unreasonable, and completely different from the madman Wang Lin later.
Lian Daofei truly acted according to his every desire on the immortal astral continent. Perhaps he really did have a brother of extremely high status. That background, combined with his nature, made him strange, arrogant, and utterly unrestrained. Anything he desired, whether treasure or person, he would seize without hesitation. If he could not take it easily, he would use every method available. He might even destroy the other party's entire sect merely to satisfy his own greed. That same greed led him into the cave of the seven-colored celestial sovereign, where he tried to steal what he wanted. But in the end, the Heavenly Dao devoured him. When Lian Daofei destroyed his divine sense, much of his greed and vicious personality was absorbed by this fragment of the Heavenly Dao. That is why the madman I met was completely different. With his former personality, how could he have given me the celestial bloodline or taught me spells? He would have used every possible method to obtain his own goal. Compared to the man he once was, I prefer the current madman.
Lion Daofei's madness was not merely the result of injury. The explosion of his divine sense had torn away much of the cruelty, arrogance, and greed that once governed him. Those traits did not disappear. They were inherited by the fragment of the Heavenly Dao. In a cruel twist, losing part of himself had made the madman more humane, while giving the Heavenly Dao a spirit had also granted it the darkest parts of a celestial's personality. It is difficult not to see bitter irony in Wang Lin's conclusion. The broken madman who appeared unreliable and confused was, in some way, more worthy of trust than the powerful celestial he had once been. In the cultivation world, completeness did not always mean goodness, and damage did not always mean ruin. A sharp light appeared in Wang Lin's eyes as he continued watching the young man floating above the half-compass. The young Heavenly Dao lowered his gaze toward the fragment and pondered in silence.
This half of the Defying Compass is my original body. Its aura cannot be detected by anyone. Leaving it here will be the safest choice.
After making his decision, the young man drifted away. His figure disappeared from the heart of the planet and traveled toward an unknown destination. Wang Lin paid no attention to where he went. His entire focus remained fixed upon the half-compass. He memorized the surrounding space, every feature of the barren planet, and the unique aura emanating from its depths. He branded all of it into his memory, refusing to overlook even the smallest detail. Wang Lin had finally found the weakness hidden beneath the All-Seer's seemingly endless reincarnation. The All-Seer could scatter his souls across the 4 great star systems and invade Wang Lin's avatar, but his original body remained anchored to a physical object, the half of the Defying Compass buried inside that forgotten planet. Once the location was known, the battle was no longer an impossible contest against infinite incarnations. It had become a direct hunt for the sword. Wang Lin suddenly closed his eyes. The instant his eyelids fell, the planet, the compass, and the surrounding void silently collapsed. The All-Seer cycle of more than 90 reincarnations had finally reached its end. When the dream vanished, Wang Lin opened his eyes in the real world. Dao Master Blue Dream, King Lin, and Master Hong Shan stood before him. At the same time, he sensed that his avatar in the summoned river was only moments away from being completely possessed. There was no longer any hesitation in his expression. The path had been revealed, but the time remaining was desperately short.
I found his original body. The 3 seniors do not need to accompany me. Please help me restrain my avatar and buy me more time.
Wang Lin rose and clasped his hands toward the 3 powerful experts. Then he took one step forward. Space bent beneath his foot. His figure shot into the distance, carrying with it a killing intent that had been sharpened through more than 90 lifetimes of secret. This was Wang Lin's decisive advantage. He did not ask the 3 experts to fight the All-Seer for him. Instead, he assigned them the task only they could perform, preserving his avatar against the possession. Wang Lin himself would strike the hidden original body. One side would delay the All-Seer's convergence, while the other destroyed its foundation. It was a race between possession and annihilation.
All-Seer, the game is about to end.
Across the star-filled void, Wang Lin's original body advanced with a speed his avatar could never match. He did not rely on brute force, nor did he merge with the laws of the world. Instead, he seized space itself and tore it apart. His right hand swept forward. Space split beneath his fingers, and a thunderous roar rolled through the heavens as a vast spatial rift opened before him. Without the slightest hesitation, Wang Lin stepped into the darkness. When he emerged again, the entire summoned river had already been left behind. Again and again, he ripped open the void, crossed the destructive turbulence between spaces, and reappeared impossibly far away. Through this outrageous method, Wang Lin forced his ancient Dao body to its absolute limit. Within the entire cave world, perhaps only Wang Lin possessed both the courage and the flesh required for such travel. Spatial turbulence could shred ordinary cultivators apart. Ancient demons and ancient devils would struggle to endure it, while even an ancient god could survive only a limited number of crossings. But Wang Lin no longer possessed an ordinary ancient god body. The blood of the ancient Dao flowed within him, granting him a physique countless times more formidable. The destructive storm slammed into him from every direction, yet it could not leave even a wound. Instead, the turbulence itself seemed to whimper beneath the impact before collapsing around his body. Within the brilliant void, an enormous rift suddenly appeared. Wang Lin stepped out, his presence pressing down upon the stars, and his vast ancient Dao divine sense instantly swept across the region. A moment later, his eyes opened sharply. He had found the trace he sought. His body surged forward once more. Only several breaths had passed since Wang Lin awakened from his dream death. Yet within those breaths, a struggle that could determine the fate of the entire cave world had already begun. Back in the summoned river, the souls of every All-Seer avatar converged. When the final soul entered Wang Lin's avatar, the avatar's eyes suddenly opened. Pain and resistance twisted within those eyes. The All-Seer soul was invading his consciousness, seizing his mind and body from within. Because of the reincarnation integration spell, no outsider could directly interfere with the possession. Blue light surrounded the avatar. Dao Master Blue Dream stood nearby, outwardly calm as he watched every change. King Lin and Master Hong Shan were beside him, but neither could conceal the tension in their expressions.
Wang Lin, are you faster than this old man?
The struggle in Wang Lin's eyes intensified. His body trembled violently, and veins rose across his skin. The words leaving his mouth sounded ancient and unnatural, carrying the decaying aura of something that had survived far too many ages. His right eye wore. The familiar pupil vanished, replaced by a shifting shadow. He turned toward Dao Master Blue Dream, King Lin, and Master Hong Shan, then lifted his right hand with a contemptuous smile.
The 3 of you are not weak. Since you insist on preventing me from leaving, I will allow you to witness my 99th awakening.
The avatar's left eye trembled before slowly becoming still. A ghostly radiance emerged from within. Then the body sat down and closed its eyes. The All-Seer was not attempting a crude seizure of the body. His method was more dangerous. He was fusing with Wang Lin's avatar from the inside, eliminating resistance layer by layer so that no flaw would remain when he awakened. Wang Lin's original body sensed everything happening to his avatar. As the possession deepened, an abandoned planet appeared before him in the brilliant void. The planet was a wasteland. No life remained upon its surface, and endless deserts covered almost everything beneath the dim heavens. Its rivers had dried up long ago, their ancient channels swallowed by sand. Its seas had turned black, polluted by countless rotting corpses that drifted within the unmoving water. A dark poisonous fog enveloped the entire world. A mortal who inhaled it would immediately rot and perish. Even cultivators would instinctively frown upon encountering it. There was no spiritual energy here, and therefore no reason for cultivators to visit. Even poison cultivators avoided the planet not because its poison was especially profound, but because the stench of innumerable decaying bodies was unbearable. The world before Wang Lin was hideous, ruined, and near death. Almost nothing resembled the planet he had witnessed inside the reincarnation cycle. Yet its aura was unmistakable. That aura was the soul of the planet itself. In the reincarnation cycle, Wang Lin had sensed it when it had only just been born. Now that soul hovered on the edge of extinction, but he still recognized it without hesitation. This recognition was the key to Wang Lin's pursuit. The landscape could decay, seas could blacken, and continents could be buried beneath time, but the fundamental aura of a world could not easily deceive someone who had witnessed its origin. Wang Lin rushed forward, shattered through the weakened atmosphere, and descended upon one of the continents. The instant he arrived, the poisonous fog surrounding the planet was driven away as though struck by a violent cosmic wind. The dark veil lifted, revealing the dying world beneath it. Wang Lin did not pause. He crossed the continent and appeared above the Black Sea. The water possessed no waves and no movement, as though even the ocean had long since died. The foul stench grew overwhelming, but Wang Lin ignored it completely. He plunged straight toward the sea below. A deafening explosion shook the ocean. A gigantic vortex formed around his descending body and drilled downward until it reached the sea floor. The vortex expanded, forcing aside black silt that had accumulated for countless years. Layers that had never seen the sky were torn open until the true seabed was finally exposed. The seabed was not flat. Countless small mountains rose from it like the buried bones of an ancient world.
This is the place.
A brilliant light erupted from Wang Lin's eyes. He descended without slowing, ignoring the filth and stench as he headed straight toward the depth. At the bottom of the sea lay a cave formed countless years ago. Brown earth filled its interior, deposited by innumerable earthquakes that had caused the surrounding soil to collapse inward. Buried deep beneath that ancient dirt was half of a compass. A gentle wind entered the cave. Soil that had remained unmoved for ages slid aside, revealing one corner of the hidden object. At that exact moment, a powerful hand seized the exposed corner and ripped the compass free from its earthen grave. Wang Lin stared at the half-compass in his palm. His eyes shone with a light sharp enough to pierce the darkness.
Which of us is faster?
Meanwhile, within the summoned river, Wang Lin's seated avatar began to transform. Its face shifted rapidly until every trace of Wang Lin disappeared, replaced by the white-haired countenance of the All-Seer. This possession resembled devouring, yet it was far more meticulous than the All-Seer's previous method. Because this body was crucial to his final plan, he had chosen to consume it from within, ensuring that no mistake or hidden resistance remained. Though his eyes remained closed, body and soul fused at astonishing speed. This fusion was his slumber. Once it ended, his final awakening would begin. It would be his 99th awakening. After awakening, he would be able to locate the other cluster of fog that had once been separated from him. By merging with it, he intended to reclaim control over fate itself. Should that fusion succeed, the All-Seer would no longer be merely a powerful cultivator. He would become an extraordinary Heavenly Dao, one possessing independent thought, ancient wisdom, spells, and the ability to grow without being fed by another existence. Once he controlled fate, the countless lives born within the cave world would fall beneath his authority. A heavenly Dao without consciousness merely maintained the cycle of existence. A heavenly Dao with its own desires, games, and hunger would become a nightmare beyond measure. If he wished, he could devour everything originating from the heavenly Dao. Only existences not born within this cave world could remain the 3 souls and 7 fragments, along with the people of the immortal astral continent. The terrifying truth was that this battle was no longer about the survival of Wang Lin's avatar. It concerned whether every native life in the cave world would retain its freedom or become nourishment for a self-aware heavenly Dao. More than half of the fusion completed within a short span. Several breaths later, the process reached its end. The All-Seer opened his eyes. A smile appeared on his face. He raised his head, and triumphant laughter thundered across the summoned river.
99 awakenings. This old man has finally completed the last awakening, Heavenly Dao. This old man is the Heavenly Dao.
The All-Seer rose to his feet. His white hair whipped through the air as an ancient aura poured from his body. Dense fog gathered around him, expanding like a living domain. Wang Lin had seen this fog within the reincarnation cycle. It was not an ordinary spell or illusion. It was a form belonging to the heavenly Dao itself.
Wang Lin, your avatar has already been taken, so what if your original body still lives? This old man has no time to deal with you.
His expression turned fierce. Without even sparing Dao Master Blue Dream and the others a proper glance, he prepared to leave. But before he could move, blue light flashed across his path. Dao Master Blue Dream appeared directly before him, blocking the way.
I promised him that I would not let you leave this place.
King Lin and Master Hong Shan immediately closed in from the side. The 3 experts formed a final barrier around the newly awakened All-Seer. They understood that defeating him might be impossible. Their true purpose was delay. Every breath they could steal was another breath for Wang Lin's original body to return with the answer hidden inside the reincarnation cycle. The All-Seer's eyes flashed coldly. He swept his sleeve and opened his mouth to inhale. The heavens trembled as though the entire world were being reversed. Endless fog flooded the star system, swallowing sight, direction, and divine sense. Within that fog, an enormous illusory mouth manifested and descended to devour Dao Master Blue Dream, King Lin, and Master Hong Shan in a single strike. At that instant, brilliant blue light erupted. An overwhelmingly powerful aura surged from within it and collided head-on with the descending mouth. Then, from the distant stars, a cold voice arrived heavy with killing intent and sharp enough to freeze the surging fog.
All-Seer, I have brought your original body here.
The All-Seer had won the race for the Avatar, but Wang Lin had found the one relic capable of turning that victory into his greatest weakness. The true confrontation was only now beginning. The blue radiance struck like a blade descending from the heavens. The surrounding fog convulsed, then collapsed outright, while the illusory mouth hidden within it vanished almost as soon as it had appeared. The All-Seer's face drained of color. Disbelief flooded his eyes as he stared beyond Dao Master Blue Dream and the others. There, dressed entirely in white, Wang Lin was advancing through the starry void with calm, measured step. Within Wang Lin's right hand rested half of a compass. It appeared ordinary, without the slightest trace of spiritual aura. Yet the instant the All-Seer recognized it, his heart thundered. The shock in his gaze transformed into a fear so deep it could no longer be concealed.
It's impossible. You could not have found my original body, even if you did. What of it? I have awakened 99 times. I am the Heavenly Dao.
The All-Seer thrust one finger toward the heavens. The madness in his voice shook the void, as if he intended to command every law beneath the stars.
One body of heaven, all matter in the world, return to me.
The fog surrounding him began to rotate violently before surging outward. Space trembled beneath its power, and an enormous, indistinct mouth materialized once more, opening wide enough to devour everything before it. Yet before that mouth could complete its descent, it shuddered unnaturally. Cracks spread across its blurred form, and in the next instant, the entire manifestation collapsed and disappeared from the star system. The All-Seer believed he commanded the Heavenly Dao, but the repeated failure of his divine manifestation revealed a terrifying truth. The authority he relied upon was no longer answering him. His greatest weapon had begun to reject its supposed master. His expression changed again. Before he could understand what was happening, Wang Lin stepped closer, his white robes drifting behind him like frost beneath a moonless sky.
Do you truly believe this is your 99th awakening?
The All-Seer fell silent. For one brief moment, uncertainty flickered within him. Then killing intent erupted from his eyes, and he charged at Wang Lin without the slightest hesitation.
My 3,000 avatars have already fused. Even without fully awakening, I possess the aura of the Heavenly Dao. Before me, you are nothing but an ant. You are not seven-colored soul. Even with my original body in your hands, I can kill you in an instant.
His form blurred into a shadow and tore through the void. But before he could reach Wang Lin, blue light flashed across his path. Dao Master Blue Dream stepped forward, swept his sleeve, and released a devastating strike.
You were also born from the Heavenly Dao. You dare stand in my way?
The All-Seer showed no regard for Blue Dream's strength. He raised his right hand and met the incoming attack head-on. A thunderous explosion rolled across the stars. Dao Master Blue Dream's expression changed, and the impact forced him several steps backward. The All-Seer did not retreat even half a step. With a gloomy face, he accelerated toward Wang Lin until fewer than 100 feet remained between them. This single collision exposed the current balance of power. Even an expert of Blue Dream's level could only delay the All-Seer, not suppress him. Yet Wang Lin remained motionless, suggesting that his true countermeasure had never depended on defeating the stolen body through brute force. Wang Lin's expression remained perfectly calm. He watched the All-Seer approach with a faint trace of contempt, as though the enemy rushing toward him had already stepped into a grave prepared long ago.
My body still belongs to me. Let the Dao dissipate.
At 90 feet, the All-Seer's body suddenly trembled. A rune flashed upon his chest, and concentric ripples spread from it, covering every inch of the body he had stolen from Wang Lin. Within those ripples, every fragment of Dao comprehension contained inside that body began to disappear. Once the comprehension of Dao was erased, the essences founded upon it could no longer remain. The fire essence within the left eye collapsed. The thunder essence inside the right eye shattered. Between the eyebrows, the essences of slaughter, life and death, karma, and true and false all dissolved. Even the restriction essence hidden within the blood vessels of the eyes vanished into nothingness. In less than a breath, not one trace of essence remained within the body the All-Seer had seized. All 7 essences had leaked away into the void. A cultivator's body could be compared to a vessel, while essence was the water stored within it. Dao comprehension strengthened that vessel and sealed every weakness. Wang Lin did not attack the water directly. He destroyed the foundation that kept it contained. Once the vessel lost its integrity, all 7 essences escaped by themselves. The All-Seer froze. Horror emerged in his eyes. Across all his previous awakenings, nothing like this had ever happened. Wang Lin looked upon him without haste and spoke the second command.
Let the origin soul scatter.
The origin soul of Wang Lin's avatar, already fused with the All-Seer's 3,000 souls, immediately dimmed. Its light weakened, dispersed, and vanished. A cultivator without an origin soul was no different from a mortal. And how could an ordinary mortal body endure the occupation and fusion of 3,000 souls? Popping sounds erupted throughout the All-Seer's body. His limbs shook, his flesh twisted, and signs of complete collapse spread across the vessel he had once believed was entirely his own. The horror in the All-Seer's eyes reached its limit. He had schemed against heaven. He had schemed against earth. He had even schemed against time itself. Yet for the second time, his calculations had failed before Wang Lin. The All-Seer's defeat was not born from a lack of intelligence. It came from arrogance. He understood laws, reincarnation, possession, and countless lives, but he assumed that once he seized Wang Lin's body, Wang Lin's authority over it had ended. That single mistaken assumption overturned schemes accumulated across more than 90 awakenings. He had never imagined that Wang Lin would locate his original body. Still less had he imagined that Wang Lin retained control over the avatar he had supposedly conquered. To the All-Seer, such a thing was impossible. He had completely occupied the body and transformed himself into an independent existence. Even now, he could not comprehend it. Why could Wang Lin still command this body? We could a few quiet words disperse its Dao and scatter its origin soul. Then, amid that suffocating fear and confusion, the All-Seer heard Wang Lin's third sentence.
Let the soul die.
The All-Seer's body shook violently. He sensed Wang Lin's soul, the single soul fused among his 3,000, suddenly dissipate. The fusion of the 3,000 souls had been perfect and inseparable. But when Wang Lin voluntarily erased his own soul from that structure, perfection itself was broken. The occupied body collapsed, and the remaining 2,999 souls exploded outward.
Impossible. Impossible. Why is this happening? You can still control this body. This does not conform to the rules of this world. It defies the laws of this world. I am the Heavenly Dao. I establish the rules. Every body I occupy belongs to me. I know your memories. Even with the 3-life spell, you should not be capable of this. Even if you died 1,000 times, I still would not die. Who are you?
The scattered souls transformed into a vast, indistinct fog. Within them existed every life the All-Seer had devoured through more than 90 awakenings. Thousands of voices roared together, their fury shaking the starry sky.
Who are you? You are neither one of 7-Colored's 3 souls, nor one of his 7 fragments. You are merely a mortal born inside my cave. You cannot possess this power. I refuse to believe it.
For the first time, the being who claimed to define the laws of the world was forced to question Wang Lin's identity. The terror came not merely from impending destruction, but from encountering an existence his knowledge could not explain. To one who trusted calculation above all else, the unknown was more frightening than death. Wang Lin gazed at the 2,999 souls. They howled in madness, confusion, pain, and disbelief, yet his eyes remained cold.
You are merely a part of the Heavenly Dao. I am the master of the Heavenly Dao.
Wang Lin raised his left hand and touched the point between his eyebrows. The ancient god stars vanished, replaced by a slowly rotating vortex that released an aura of immeasurable antiquity. When his hand moved away, a ray of light shot from the vortex. It expanded at once, growing larger and larger until it transformed into a colossal beast. The nether beast had appeared. At first, the enormous creature looked sluggish. Only a few people were present, leaving it with little reason to become frightened. It glanced around until its eyes settled upon the fog formed by the All-Seer's scattered souls. The nether beast appeared instinctively drawn toward them. Its immense mouth opened without conscious thought, and saliva seemed ready to spill as it stared at the thousands of souls, as though they were an irresistible feat.
Master of the Heavenly Dao, the nether beast. This is the nether beast. Could it have been formed from the other massive fog that separated from me?
Every one of the All-Seer souls stared at the nether beast in shock. He naturally recognized it. Long ago, Lion Deifei had detonated his own origin soul, splitting the All-Seer's original body apart. Across countless years, the connection between the two halves had been lost. Had that connection remained, the All-Seer would never have needed 99 awakenings to reclaim control of reincarnation and search for the missing portion of his body. The half-compass and the nether beast were not merely weapons. Together, they represented the lost completeness the All-Seer had pursued for countless ages. Wang Lin had taken the very objective behind the 99 awakenings and turned it into the instrument of the All-Seer's destruction.
The game is over, All-Seer.
Wang Lin raised his right hand and hurled the half-compass directly into the nether beast's open mouth. All 2,999 souls trembled and screamed. Abandoning every trace of dignity, they scattered desperately, fleeing in 2,999 different directions. Dao Master Blue Dream and the others prepared to pursue, but Wang Lin raised a hand and stopped them. His gaze remained fixed upon the nether beast as it chewed the half-compass with a vacant expression. Time passed. Gradually, the confusion in the beast's eyes disappeared. In its place emerged a ruthless coldness that made even the surrounding stars seem dim.
Devour them. From this moment onward, you will be complete.
Exhaustion finally appeared upon Wang Lin's face. He lowered himself onto the nether beast's back as the gigantic creature suddenly opened its mouth and surged forward. The instant its jaws opened, an overwhelming suction force covered all 2,999 fleeing souls. Their screams merged into one final roar as they were dragged backward and swallowed into the nether beast's enormous mouth. The All-Seer's 99 awakenings ended not in a grand clash of spells, but through Wang Lin's absolute control over his own avatar and his understanding of the enemy's origin. Wang Lin dismantled the All-Seer layer by layer Dao, origin soul, soul fusion, and finally the original body itself. Wang Lin clasped his hands toward Dao Master Blue Dream, King Lin, and Senior Hongshan. His weariness had grown even more apparent, but his words remained steady.
Senior Blue Dream, Qing Lin, Senior Hongshan, I must reform my cultivator avatar, so I will not return to the celestial realm with you. Once I have resolved this matter, I will meet all of you there. Tell Senior Brother Qing Shui that it would be best for him not to go out during this period. When I return, I will need his help.
Still seated upon the nether beast's back, Wang Lin slowly receded into the distance. His white figure became smaller and smaller until both man and beast disappeared among the stars. The nether beast's eyes were now completely ruthless. It carried the same terrifying gaze it had revealed when it devoured Lion Deifei, a gaze without hesitation, pity, or fear. With the nether beast restored, Wang Lin no longer needed to fear any existence within the cave world. This was more than the destruction of an ancient enemy. It was the moment his strength crossed a decisive threshold. He had finally gained the qualifications to stand among the supreme powers and contend for dominion over the entire cave world. And after witnessing how Wang Lin overturned a plan spanning countless years, one truth becomes impossible to ignore. His most dangerous power is not merely cultivation. It is his ability to endure, understand, and wait until a seemingly invincible enemy exposes the one weakness that cannot be repaired.